Hello everyone, I am Xerix Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to Century Economy 2019. The Spanish gold system is beginning to operate in full swing, with ships dedicated to the exploring chain from the split island, and ships gathering metals the old-fashioned way. Note that 2 pennies are now on the Spanish home island, signifying that the Spanish have over 2,000 gold. The Spanish are content to watch as the pirates and Americans struggle, even though the conflict has gotten close to their waters and territory. The Americans finally sink the Sea Nymph, with a well-placed cannon volley from the Constitution. Christian Jefferson got rid of the cursed natives, but found a curse with a black spot in return. The Americans utterly crushed the pirates right off their home island, with the Grand Barnacle and Destiny's Bounty down to 1 mast each, and the Americans are just getting started. Late to the party is Commodore Stern, but his presence may not be needed, as the other capital ships have done their job, scaring off the Black Pearl and Black Diamond, and creating an imposing presence at the pirate home island. The Americans have a mixed presence in the North Sea, only conveying influence around their colony, as the rest of the Northwestern Sea belongs to the English, with the pirates holed up in Voyanui Bay. Here, the frontier has turned around and loaded the rest of the gold that was left on the island from the refill when the resources changed. To end their turn, the Americans launched several mid-sized gunships, knowing that large capital ships do not always win battles. Grampus, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. The Boston, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. USS Lennox, with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and musketeer. The York, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Gold Eagle, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Mohican, with a captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and firepot specialist. The Concord from Barbary Coast, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. All launched at the American home island. The pirates turn their foresight around and order her to load the gold at the colony island. Also gold left over from when the islands refilled. The RNS Bloodpact brings the Calypso to the surface with the help of Chancellor Bratley, and eliminates 2 of the submarine's hull segments. The English end their turn by launching the HMS Oxford and Half Moon at the beach of Hidden Cove. The French gunships keep an eye on the for now dormant Kurst, with the Notre Dame and La Haye beginning to form a line of defense against them. At the end of their turn, they build Paradis de la Mer on the gold island next to the portal. A storm between Kanohi Island and the shipwreck pathway will make American operations more difficult, but the maneuverability and speed of the clipper ships may mitigate the danger. The Spanish have more gold than any faction, and have no idea what to do with it all. Until now, spending a small portion of what they have to launch what they call border defense. El Argonauta with captain, helmsman, gunner, cannoneer, and oarsman. El Neptuno with captain, musketeer, gunner, and oarsman, towing the Diablo flotilla. La Voz de Dios with a captain, musketeer, and cannoneer. Santo Colombo with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, firepot specialist, and oarsman. El Monte Cristo with captain, helmsman, and oarsman. Asesino de la Nave with captain, helmsman, firepot specialist, musketeer, and oarsman. La Resolucion from Ocean's Edge with captain, helmsman, firepot specialist, and oarsman. The Americans show no mercy as first the Grand Barnacle was sunk, and then the Destiny's Bounty. Somehow the Cassandra avoids being sunk, but is limping back to the pirate home island with 1 mast standing. The Carnage repaired quickly thanks to the house rule and repairing in the same action twice. With another successful SAT, she zoomed across the seas and took a mast off of the Gold Eagle. The Eagle and Atlanta have responded, taking 2 masts off of the Carnage. Ophidius was moved by Seleucus, came to the surface, and with the help from the Ranger, managed to take the Bloodpact down to 1 mast standing. Jack Sparrow wanted a change of scenery, and sacked Walgoswi to sail through the arms of Voyanui and emerge near the pirate home island. The Deliverance had found the front of Visaga UT, but failed with it, which sent it back to Voyanui. The Blood Pact retreats, though not before canceling Aufidius' Eternal, and the Lester takes your place, reducing the serpent to a head, but missing the final shot to kill the beast. The French are trying to figure out how to make an effective chain to explore the Triangle Island. So far, their efforts have been feeble and ill thought out. The Gold Eagle takes advantage of her reverse captain to fire and flee from the carnage, leaving the heavy hitting to the Atlanta, who does not disappoint, taking the final masts from the carnage. The pirates and Americans continue to skirmish, with the Flying Dutchman and Black Pearl doing damage to the Providence, but getting more than what they asked for in return. The Bonhomme Richard has sailed broadside to the Dutchman and felled 2 of her masts, while the Black Pearl has been attacked by the HMS Burma, who also went aboard against the Pearl to kill Cannoneer Marty. A broad shot of American and pirate waters, with a cluster of gunships around the pirate home island, ensuing that American operations at the shipwreck pathway go unfettered. Speaking of, the 2 American clipper ships continue to make runs back and forth between the shipwreck pathway and Kanohi, making up for their limited cargo with a trip at least once a turn. Meanwhile, the Constitution and Saratoga are returning to Kanohi to repair damage from the front line. The Atlanta holds off on preparing to come north and take a mast off of the Black Pearl. The construction of the Devil's Maw on the previous turn, however, will give the immediate combatants a place to repair and adds another layer of defense to Voyanui. Furthermore, the Maw is on the relative front line of the Pirate-American-English conflict, and will be a place that mercenaries can be launched from and see immediate action. The Maw was not the only thing the pirates launched and built at the end of their turn. Spending almost all of their available gold, they launched a Harbinger from Davy Jones' Curse, with Will Turner, Sean Cannonball Gallows, a helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. A Revenant with Sao Fang, a captain, helmsman, coconut, and oarsman. The Harbinger from Return of Davy Jones, with Tia Dalma, Crimson Angel, a captain, helmsman, and oarsman. The Zeus, with Hammersmith, Derek the Red, helmsman, cannoneer, oarsman, and 4 explorers. From Tutorial, the Devil's Maw, and the Home Island. The English did not chase after the pirates, opting to instead salvage ships that were already damaged and launch 2 very serious gunships. HMS Endeavour, with Commodore Carl Carbuncles from Dark Tides. Lord Thomas Anderson, also from Dark Tides, a helmsman and oarsman. The RNS Legacy, with Sir Christopher Mings and linked Mings Marauders. Commander James Atlas from Fiends of the Blood Islands, a helmsman and oarsman, at their home island and from Fort Brompton at the Portal. The French have a rough defensive line against the Cursed. They're not sure how the Cursed will react to the building of 2 forts near them. More ships are on their way, though not to help hold the line, rather to plunge through the portal. If anyone had gold to rival the Spanish, it would be the French, who have not spent fast or frequently, as they have not had or needed to engage in combat. The Corsair squadron is getting into formation to form a chain, and the French look for a suitable ship to head off the chain at their home island. Storms continue to pose a threat to both the pirates and the Americans in the Southern Ocean. The Spanish hire Bianco's Hollows at their home island, and plan to give it to a ship at the end of their exploring chain. The Americans and pirates each take time to repair their damaged ships, and eye one another across the no man's ocean. The Saratoga and Clipper ships dock at Kanohi. In the background, the American battle group is moving steadily eastward to secure the area around the shipwreck pathway. The Frontier is finally heading home, with a cargo of valuable silver. She passes the outgoing Boston and Louisiana, the latter of which has a cargo of gold to make the final upgrade to the American colony. In an odd similarity, the Foresight is also approaching home with a valuable cargo of silver. The pirates are not desperate for gold, yet, but every little bit helps, especially when their options are becoming increasingly limited. The new pirate launches move out, though not aggressively, and take up defensive positions around important pirate positions. At the end of their turn, the pirates make a small launch, putting the Desert Wind with Kired Din, a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer into the water at Tutorial Island, behind the Calyptra and Flying Dutchman. The English quickly form a line of battle to defend against the pirates, while their gold ships continue to bring in valuable spices and food. The French have found their ship to head off their chain at home, the Wasp, a clipper ship from Fiends of the Blood Islands. The Spanish begin to diversify back to medicine, while the Buscador takes a leave from the chain duties and gives them to the Santa Isabel. The Spanish Border Security Squadron appears to be sailing into the straits between Voyanui and the Split Island, with Intermediaros spearheading them. The pirates tighten up their formation and take true defensive positions around Tutorial and the Maw. Jack Sparrow was not fond of squids, and so directed the Deliverance back into Voyanui Bay, using Ghost Ship to get into the bay without having to go all the way around. Back home, the Cassandra has finished repairing. The Lacan II has returned with the Foresight, and the DH-2 is finished repairing after a disastrous venture over a reef. The pirates' first line of defense are their sea monsters and the submarine Calyptra. Impressive in looks alone, but will it stand up to a direct attack from someone like the English, or the Americans? The French are getting underway with their chain exploring system, with the Wasp getting into position. At the end of their turn, the French launch the Revolution from Fiends of the Blood Islands, with linked crew Captain Alois Garnier, Duncan Rousseau, a helmsman and oarsman. La Possession with Philippe Taizac from Return of Davy Jones, a helmsman and musketeer. Le Hercule with Amiral Jacques Arethiel, also from Return of Davy Jones, a musketeer, firepot specialist, and oarsman from Paradis de la Mer. The Spanish and pirates share Split Island amicably. The Spanish have no desire to fight the pirates, and the pirates are quite frankly scared of picking a fight with an enemy with such deep pockets. The Spanish have stored huge amounts of medicine at Pride Rock. So far, the Spanish have managed to abstain from any conflict, but they are suspicious of the Americans, who they assume are somehow English. For the first time in a long time, the headhunter instructs the Guishan to move, making sail for the whirlpool to the north. Like a cracking floodgate, the Cursed suddenly lurch into action, with ships sailing every which way. The Executioner makes sail for English waters, passing the submerged Ophidius on her way. With only 2 turns left on the resource counter, and knowing that it would be impossible to get any more metals home before then, the Constitution and Montana Mays bombard the pirate trading port on the shipwreck pathway, and completely destroy it in one fell swoop. With the port destroyed, the island is reset to unexplored, and is now completely unrecoverable by the pirates. The Spanish look on with mild concern. The Spanish concern stems from the number of American gunships seemingly pointed right at them. The Americans claim that the gunships are to secure the area around the shipwreck pathway, and to deal with pirates. The Americans were able to bring the Swift Victory back home from the shipwreck pathway, and give an extra action to the Mississippi, to almost bring her home as well. The Mississippi has the final cargo of metals taken from the shipwreck pathway, and the stack of metal on the home island has come exclusively from the work that the Swift Victory and Spirit have done at the shipwreck pathway. Due to the height difference in the tables, the Providence only looks like she is not docked at the northern beach of Pyramid Island. At the colony, the Atlanta repairs, and the final fleet action was given to the Louisiana to expedite the construction of the colony. In a repeat of previous predicaments, the Deliverance finds rum and natives on the same stack at Voyanui. Combined, the Deliverance will be inactive for 5 turns. Seleucus had been helping Ophidius move north for some time, and finally the Serpent was in position. Breaching the surface, he slammed into the RMS Micron, where Fleet Admiral William Cobb resided, and eliminated a mast. Ophidius prepared to board the now injured ship and eat up the Admiral. However, Ophidius lost and was beaten back. Cobb claimed the beast's head, and the rest of the Serpent went back to the pirate home island to regenerate. The pirates finished their turn by launching 3 mercenary ships from the Devil's Maw. Mobilis, with a captain, helmsman, and cannoneer. Nautilus, with Christian Fior, Commandant Adam del Toros from Dark Tides, and a helmsman. The Rampage from Return of Davy Jones, with Michael Wukong, also from Dark Tides, Count Gustav, a helmsman and cannoneer. Now with 4 Cancellors in their fleet, the pirates are more than able to take a serious battle with the English or Americans, and as such the English tighten up their formation. The Raven was turned cursed early on in the game and was given back to the English, but her flag is still cursed, and so she does not gain the cargo bonus of the Cargo Master Thomas Gunn III. The English have since moved on to better ships, and now send the Raven through the whirlpool and into Voyanui Bay, where she loses a mast on emergence. The French have set up their chain and slowly start to move cargo through it. Like the Spanish earlier, some of the ships already had a full cargo of finished goods. If the Spanish are nervous and wary of the Americans, then the French most certainly are nervous and wary of the Cursed. Several of their more potent gunships are pointed right at them, and the Cursed do not have an island to gather resources from anymore. The Spanish have set up a second chain leading from the Archway Island that terminates at roughly the same spot at the chain from the Split Island, so that only one hoister ship is needed to transfer the cargoes to home. The full, and potentially overpowered, abilities of the Spanish are brought to bear, and produce one of the most effective gold systems ever seen in a campaign game. The fruits of the Spanish efforts: over 3,000 gold at home, enough to instantly launch a potent battle fleet and still have over 1,000 gold left. Voyanui Bay gets crowded as the Guishan and Sickle emerge from the whirlpool, giving the pirates quite a scare. The Guishan used an extra action to dock at the Grey Beach and explore, finding cursed natives, which did nothing to them, Cotton's Parrot, Triton's Defense, and a sextant. The Americans explore the shipwreck pathway and find spices. With the resources about to change, the Americans do not try to get any home, but begin to make plans for the island. Elsewhere, the Americans have upgraded their colony to the max level of 5, using the gold from the Louisiana to finish the job, and the Atlanta and Providence are fully prepared. Back home, the Americans cash in all of their saved up resources, netting themselves over 100 gold for their immediate funding. The pirates barely move any ships and do likewise, but with much better results. While the shipwreck pathway may have been cut off early on, the chain going to the food half of Split Island continued to function as normal, and the pirates had a massive cache of food, worth 4 gold apiece. Cashing it all in netted them more than double what the Americans managed. Like the pirates, the English barely moved any of their ships, save the Pride and RMS Micron, who both left the docks near the rear of Hidden Cove and made for home, fleeing from the Calyptra and Grim the Savage. The current round of resources, the longest so far in the game, ended, and new rolls were needed. With much anticipation, the dice were rolled, with a 5 coming up for duration, quite short, but a 1 coming up for value, meaning that all resources would be worth their face value. This would benefit all factions except the Cursed, who have reasonably easy access to one of the 3 most valuable resources. The Spanish turn all their attention to the chain gathering finished goods from Split Island, and continue as they have been. At the end of their turn, they launched one of the most feared ships on the seas, El Corsaro, with Luis Zuan, Captain Enrico Castro, Joaquin Vega, Nemesio Diaz, Duke Marcos Vaccaro, and a helmsman from their trading port on Pride Rock. The Sickle has dismasted the Raven and the Guishan explores Voyanui again, finding the coins hidden atop the island's mountain. A whirlpool pulled the Guishan out of the bay and into the waters near the cursed home island. Her adventures were not done, however, as the mountaintop coins had also included Pandora's box. The Americans placed another rum. The pirates chose the cursed conch. The English gave her a royal decree. The French gave her the Luddite's revenge. The Spanish gave her an abandoned captain, and the cursed gave her spices. The Phantom came through the whirlpool into Voyanui Bay, and took the Raven under tow, once again making her serve the cursed. To finish their turn, the Cursed spent all the rest of the gold they had, and launched the Grinder and 3 helmsmen. In a potentially game-changing move, the USS Jackson escorts the pirate colony, and wins the boarding action resoundingly, thereby destroying the colony. In immediate retaliation, the Black Diamond and Black Pearl cross the bow of the Boston, and together eliminate 1 mast and place a fire mast on her. The Revenant and Carnage engage the Concordia and eliminate 3 of her masts. In the background, pirate gunships leap from their defensive position to make full sail toward the Americans. In the south, by their home island, the Raven's Neck, Darkhawk II, and one of the Harpunders make due sail for Kanohi, despite the serious firepower arrayed against them. The English take the initiative, with the Blood Patch canceling Shai-Hulud to the surface so that the Serpent can be killed. The Dauntless, however, only manages to eliminate 1 segment from the beast, even with a cannoneer. The Success manages to take the sternmost mast off of the Flying Dutchman. The Dauntless was given an extra action and smashed headlong into the Carnage, but only managed to eliminate 1 mast with her cannons, and failed at the ram attempt. In the background, Shai-Hulud lives due to poor aim and incredible unluckiness of the English gunners on the London and Burma. The Endeavour cancels Teach to the surface and kills the great shark, but had to use all available cannons to do so. The Forge and Success get closer to the Dutchman and set her on fire, but are unable to do much else. The Durham somehow gets all cannons in on Shai Hulud, but is only able to eliminate one segment, leaving just the head. Shai Hulud lives! The Aurora Dawn draws a bead on the Dutchman, and the English finally have their victory, with the Dutchman taken down to one mast standing and burning. It took them some time, but the French have gotten their chain exploring system up and running. There are still some logjams to work out, but it should benefit them greatly for the next few turns. And that wraps up this report. The English and Americans appear to have buried the hatchet in the face of a common enemy, the pirates. The pirates are getting desperate and may reach out for help. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.